welcome to Season 4, Episode 17, the return visit to Fort Hill Cemetery. And the last time I was here was Season 3, Episode 4. And what we did is we just walked around, told you a few stories about this place. There's a lot more we're going to talk about here too. But I think this is one of my most favorite places to visit. And it's just in the middle of a cemetery. Also, there's famous people buried here like Harriet Tubman. Some other people from New York here is buried. And sorry if the camera might be shaking, but I'm a little chilly out here, so hopefully that will change as we walk around. So anyway, let's explore Fort Alleghan. All right, we are at the entrance, Fort Alleghan. Now, the story is that this cemetery was used by the Senecas, built also by another group of indigenous people, and the Senecas used this to live here. It was a fortification. But I think that perhaps we will explore who actually did build this place. Okay, so now this right here, we're going to talk about something interesting as we walk around the perimeter. The eminence called Fort Hill, at one time called Osco, in the southwestern skirts of the village of Auburn, has attracted notice from the earliest times. Its height is such as to render it a very commanding spot, and crowned as it was with a work, earthen ramparts and palisades of entire efficacy against Indian missiles. It must have been an impregnable stronghold during the periods of the early intestine wars. Okay, so in this drawing here that I found, this talks about some of the diagrams. It says, viewed as a military work, the numerous breaks or openings in the wall, marked from A to C, constitute rather its characteristic trait. They are of various and irregular widths, and it seems most difficult to decide why they are so numerous. If designed for egress or regress, they are destitute of the principle of security, unless they were defended by other works of destruction, material which have wholly disappeared. The widest opening of 166 feet opens directly north. The next in point of width, 78 feet, directly south. But in order to give these or any of the other spaces the character of the entry or sally ports, and indeed to render the entire wall defensible, it must have been with palisades. So on my second visit, I guess the first visit I made, I determined that this place was a very historic place. I think it is. So I walked around the perimeter again and have noticed certain points where there could have been entrances, possibly a type of sun worship. We're going to talk a little that I'm going to read to you something here in a little bit that gives you more detail on this. But I personally think that this place is a magical place, and it's just, built by very smart people. But yes, it could be part of this could be astronomical. It's just it's just something else, and so I determined, just walking around, the whole perimeter, that these people that built it were smart and they knew what they were doing. And so now the earthenworks that is around the perimeter is not all complete. To me, it doesn't. And as I showed you on the map, that map I showed you of what, and I don't know who did that, but that's kind of neat. It's not it's kind of like an oval type circle, maybe. And but this was a fortification. So anyway, now on to more information, and then we'll do some more checking out the where the obelisk is at. Okay, so I found this little ebook that talks a lot about this area, and it says the cemetery. Let's see, the cemetery grounds. This cemetery is located according to tradition of the native proprietors upon the site of one of their principal villages, and includes the remains of an ancient sacrificial mound, which is right there, I do believe. I could be wrong. And mound and fortification erected by a people wiser yet weaker than themselves, who abandoned them or they had been fully completed. The village bore the name of Osco and was the probable birthplace of Logan, and in which that obelisk right there honors. Okay. Logan, who in early youth and about the year 1730 immigrated with his father from Cayuga country to Pennsylvania, and subsequently to the Valley of Ohio, where his family were slain by Colonel Cresep, I hope I pronounced that right, and his party in 1774. As these dissolving structures have attracted much attention, it has been deemed appropriate now that these grounds are dedicated to the purpose of Christian burial. to insert in the handbook for visitors such extracts and accredited traditions and reliable books are supposed to indicate their antiquity. It's a very interesting book. But I think it gets into who built this here in a few minutes, so we're gonna look. I want to keep reading. So anyway, accredited traditions and reliable books as are supposed to indicate their antiquity. Their evacuation by the builders, their subsequent occupation by the Cayugas, and some of the reasons for the prevalent opinion that the Indian village, which once crowned their eminence, was the natal hamlet of the illustrious Logan. And I believe he is buried here. It's kind of interesting. So let's move on a little bit further. A few pages down, we're going to get into the who built this place. Now, the traditions of the Mexican nations appear to be the most distinct and therefore the most intelligible authority. We have concerning as well the builders of these structures as the time when they were probably raised into being. Now, this gets interesting, and I think you're going to see why they call this place Fort Alleghan. These informally ascribe the erection of the works to a people denominated Alleghans, who originally hunted south and went south and west of the Mississippi River, and assert that some time during the 11th century, and in the consequence of the revolutionary movements which preceded the overthrow of the Toltec and the establishment of the Aztec Empire in Mexico. Isn't that something? They removed northward and eastward into the valley of the Ohio and country above, where they subsisted about 300 years. This is neat. Kind of interesting, huh? All right. So anyway, we know without recourse to tradition that their name is inserted upon the Allegheny Range, the Allegheny Mountains, and upon the waters of an important river in the United States. So the people who built this was the Alleghans, and they were, I guess, mound builders. Kind of interesting, huh? All right, we take a look at the obelisk one more time, and I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoy going to places like this and exploring and telling you a little bit about the history. It's just New York is filled with stuff like this, and I'm afraid that a lot of it, some of it's protected, but some of it's not. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing again the obelisk in Fort Alleghan. All right, this has been Season 4, Episode 17, and I hope you enjoyed a return visit to Fort Alleghan at Fort Hill Cemetery. And there's lots of places. As you know, I've been to several places here in New York that are like this, and it's just neat to explore history, I think. So anyway, if you like this episode, then thumbs up and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and of course YouTube, and comment. If you'd like to talk about things, comment, and I will always answer. I think we need more comments from people, and I really would appreciate it if people would let me know what they think. I've had several people tell me, oh, this is my favorite channel, which is good, and I'm glad. So anyway, episode 18 will be coming soon. I certainly hope to have it out soon. Thanks for watching.